Heard around the world by everybody and their mama. The Jesse Lee Peterson Radio Show.
We have Dinesh on the show, and he's a really good friend of mine and of the show. He's a man who wants what's right. Dinesh D'Souza is a friend. He has joined us in the past. He is a writer, scholar with several books. He wrote the documentary in 2016, Obama, America, and most recently, America, Image of a World Without Her, more recently. And it's an honor to have him here. We're going to be giving away a couple of his books and CDs here in a minute. Dinesh, how you doing, sir? Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's good to be on the show again.
I know that you're such a busy man, and we definitely appreciate your time. We have some folks on the line who love you and who are looking forward to talking to you. First, I want to say congratulations on your 4-week New York Times bestseller.
Well, thank you very much. I was thrilled to get to the top of the bestseller list. And the movie America is now the #1 DVD on Amazon, and that's not in the documentary genre. It's in all genres. So we're beating the Disney films, and it's just great to see people embracing this movie, which I think is also a good motivator for the upcoming election.
Absolutely. I want to ask you two little short questions, then we'll go to the callers to be fair to them. What's driving you to stand up for what is right? You've been on a major attacks by the government and everybody else, but you don't give in, you don't cave. What drives you?
Far from caving, I actually get energized, and so I'm going to come off the mat at the end of all this nonsense with even more energy, more projects, a more expanded reach. I'm going to go into new areas that I haven't been in before. You know, what drives me at the bottom is just this. I think that America is such a unique idea in the world, and it's not just a philosophical idea. It's an idea that has improved the lives of millions of people in this country, and the American recipe has been improving lives all over the world. So I see this current administration as a kind of almost a gangster regime that is using techniques that we've never seen before. They're undermining the American dream. They're trying to undermine the American era. They've certainly undermined America's influence in the world, and I want to do my little part to stop them.
Do you ever get ticked off by this? Does it make you angry? Because you seem to be calm through it all.
Well, it's a combination of things. At times I feel a controlled anger. At times I feel, when I think of Obama, I feel pity. At times I feel contempt. At other times I feel like laughing. So I'm in all kinds of different moods that range from anger to just absolute ridicule and hilarity, and my work reflects all those different sentiments at different times.
You need to know, if you don't already know, you probably already know, we love you, we pray for you, we keep up with what you're doing, and you have a whole lot of folks out there who are backing you because you are standing for America, you're standing for good, and that, your light shines bright in this country today. So thank you for what you're doing.
I appreciate that so much. You know, I sleep overnight in a community confinement center with 120 guys, all of whom have come straight from prison. These are guys who are making their way back to ordinary life. And yet, in all this time, I've been there almost a month now as part of this 8-month penalty, but I've never felt a twinge of uncertainty or fear, and I attribute that mainly to people who are rooting for me and people who are praying for me.
Yes, sir. Right on. Let's go out to Phoenix, Arizona. Guy, welcome to the show. You're on with Dinesh D'Souza. You're also a winner of his book and brand new movie, DVD. Hey, Guy? Oh, no Guy. Let's go to the Bible Go-To Guy of Los Angeles. Bible Go-To Guy, you're on with Dinesh.
Dinesh D'Souza, it is such a pleasure and honor to speak to you. You know, I'm not a big book fan. I like to read, but I just can't hang with books. But your book, I was on the plane coming back from the East Coast, and I couldn't hardly put that thing down. I'm 50, almost 58 now. I pretty much read, and I think I know it all kind of thing, but your book actually taught me a lot. and it taught me that I hadn't looked at the perspective of wealth creation, like you point out in the book, the genius of the founding fathers and their wealth creation formula, and I hadn't considered that. And so that's just one little thing that I learned, by reading your book. But the movie, okay, your voice is hypnotic. I love it. Don't have anybody else do the. You sound like some detective, on a crime thing. When you narrate your movies, and I don't know, you sound really like an intelligent guy. Now, some guys are intelligent, just don't sound like it, and some guys just sound like it. You are like the epitome of what an intelligent man should sound like, and it comes across in the movie, and your movies are done so well. I mean, I hope I'm not gushing too much, but I love your work, period.
Dinesh?
Well, sir, I appreciate that so much. And, the books have been my livelihood for 20 years. And books, I think, are appealing in some ways to the mind. The books are a way to communicate ideas. What I love about movies is that they communicate not just ideas, but they communicate images, and they communicate emotion.
Yeah.
So they allow you not merely to understand America, but to sort of see America and feel America. I think, for example, that when we put footage of Saul Alinsky, it was very rare footage. Almost no one had seen it in the United States. It's one thing to talk about Alinsky as this sort of gangster guy who's a mentor for Obama and for Hillary, but when you actually see him, and you see him there with the mafia, and there he's learning his techniques at the hands of Al Capone, it just, in a way, comes home to you in a way that no book could possibly hope to do. So I'm delighted to be doing both the books and the movies, and thank you for your kind words about my voice.
Thank you, Barbara. Go to Guy. Let's go to Guy out of Phoenix, Arizona. Guy, you're on with Dinesh.
Denise, Mr. D'Souza, thank you very much, and I enjoy every one of your books and DVDs. And one thing I'd like to tell you, thank you. And maybe in your new adventure, try to do some children's book, because every child in America needs to hear you speak. And I would pay to go see you debate anybody. So you need to start a rock concert on debating. We can learn. We all can learn from you, sir.
Well, I appreciate that so much. I haven't ventured into the field of children's books, to be sure. But one thing I do want to do is take this America film, take the America DVD, and have it shown not only on campuses around the country, but also have it shown in high schools. And I'm working hard to find a way to get that film into the history classroom so young people can see a very different picture of America than they normally get.
You bet. Get a video game going and teach the young folks. But everybody needs to listen to your word. You're an outstanding, and I pray for you every day. And I'm glad that you're an success, and I hope you make 10 more books that make you a wealthy man. Thank you, Mr. D'Souza.
Well, I'm not worried about that, but what I am doing is I'm making a big film to come out in the election year of 2016. That'll come out in the summer of 2016, so I'm just putting the ideas for that together right now.
Hey, Guy,
is it about Hillary?
Well, I think that Hillary is likely to be the candidate, and she would probably be the most formidable candidate on the Democratic side, but we're not sure about that. So I don't want to build a whole movie around her. I want to build a whole movie about what the progressives and the Democrats stand for, and then we'll drop the candidate into the movie once we're sure who it is.
Hey, Guy,
okay.
You're also a winner of Dinesh's book and a DVD, so if you hold on, we'll get your address and send it to you.
Okay, I thank you very much, Jesse, and thank you, Mr. D'Souza.
All right, hold on, buddy. Let's go to Ron out of Hollywood, California. Ron, welcome to the show. You're on with Dinesh.
Hi, morning. I've read both your What's So Great About books, and I do have your America book, but I haven't read it because there's a movie. So, but I want to present something else to you that has been bugging me, and it's the churches. The churches across America have become apolitical, and I'm really frustrated with that. I believe Jesus said to render, and I believe that who should be rendering is us. And we're not rendering. We're letting Caesar take over everything. And the disciples called the church ecclesias, which obviously, back in the ancient times for the Greeks, meant gathering of people for governmental affairs. And so, for me personally, I'm very frustrated that our churches are not PACs, political action churches. And I'm just wondering
yes,
if you've
now,
ever come
I think
across.
there are two things that are going on. One is that the churches are feeling a little bit intimidated by this Obama administration. This administration, more than any other, has been using tools to threaten and bully the churches, sometimes using the IRS as a weapon to do that. You've probably heard about the now rescinded, but nevertheless attempt to try to find out what sermons pastors were preaching in Houston.
Yeah.
This was an initiative on the part of the Democratic mayor. Now, that's part of it, but I think the other part of it, and you're touching on this, and I agree completely, that Christians in general are way too namby-pamby. Even when I try to debate on campus, the conservative groups are like, yeah, let's get Bill Ayers, let's get Ward Churchill, Dinesh, we want to see you slaughter them. But the Christians are like, well, Dinesh, we don't really want to debate, how about a dialogue? And I tell them, guys, listen, a debate is just a dialogue in which our side wins.
Yeah.
So don't be scared of debate. That's what we need more of that, not less.
Well, I know what you're doing is awesome. I completely love what you're doing. I'm just saying that within the church themselves, since Lyndon Johnson, they have silenced themselves, like voluntarily, from the politics. They won't. Pastors.
You're saying that some of them are afraid of losing their nonprofit status, and this has been going on since Lyndon B. Johnson. So over the years, they've only gotten weaker because they are afraid, starting way back then.
Yeah, I don't know how they're explaining to themselves that Christ would want them to not be involved in governance, in justice. And, I don't understand why the churches all across America for the last 50 years or 60 years have done that. They've hidden within their walls and, are hearting Jesus, but they're not seeing what he actually did. I'm just confused by that. It seems like a mass delusion, across the land.
When Tocqueville came to America in the 1830s now, early 1830s, he looked across America and he made this observation that he says religion, and he means Christianity, is the first of America's political institutions. So remarkably, he thinks that the most powerful force in politics is actually religion and faith. How alien that statement seems today, because first of all, half of the nonsense that is presented in the name of separation of church and state, but second, the kind of timidity and lassitude of the churches, just an embarrassing sight to watch. Christians are just not what they used to be.
That's for sure. Thank you, Ron. I got a couple emails here for you. One is that do you feel that the conservatives have run away from you?
Not at all. I don't think so at all. I think that I've had actually very strong backing from conservatives. I have all kinds of people who have been supporting me, praying for me, and this has actually sustained me through what has been a difficult process. What has been shocking is the shameful silence of the liberals, because these are liberals who pretend to be for free speech, they pretend to be for fair play. Now, if I take my campaign finance violation of $20,000, if Michael Moore, the filmmaker, did that, and the Bush administration tried to lock him up in prison for between 10 and 16 months, this would be on the cover of Time magazine.
Yeah.
It would be on the networks. There'd be a national outcry about it. So part of what I'm discovering is that these liberals are actually phonies. They're not liberals at all. They don't actually believe in free speech or fair play. They only begin to scream when something happens to them, and that's the lesson I'll be keeping in mind as we take this battle forward.
Right on. Another person said, thank you for taking this to college campuses and high schools. That's where it's needed, too.
Absolutely. Our young people, I sometimes say it's not that they've rejected conservatism, they've never heard it. They've never heard it ever. And so what's happening is they get this one-sided propaganda from the left, and the movie is just intended to be an antidote to that.
And my final two questions for you, sir. I appreciate your time. elections are next, midterm elections are next Tuesday. Do you think that the Republicans will take over both houses? And if they should, will it do any good?
Well, I'm not an expert on the poll data, and so I don't know. I hope that they do. I certainly would like to see that corrupt consigliere Harry Reid retired, and that'll be one of the benefits and motivations to get out and vote. Remember that fewer people vote in a midterm election. Midterm elections are won on motivation and turnout.
Yeah.
So it's a great incentive for us to vote because our vote counts a lot more than it would in a presidential election, just because there are far more people casting ballots in a presidential year.
Right.
So I hope the Republicans take the Senate. I think it's important politically to quarantine Obama. This guy is so out of control 6 years into his presidency.
I know.
We can't stop him completely. He has 2 more years of the presidency. But what we can do is do some block and tackle politically. And a Republican Senate, I think, a Republican Congress, I think, would do that.
I also think that my final thing, I think that is amazing how they're dealing with this Ebola situation, and that Obama refused to stop flights from coming or going over to West Africa. The CDC said at one point that it was not airborne. Now they're back and they're saying that it is. You can get it from a sneeze. And it seems as though they're not concerned about protecting. The borders are wide open. Diseases are coming from that end. And they don't seem to be concerned about protecting the American people first. Do you get that impression?
Well, I just get the impression of just a complete kind of blindness on this issue. I was recently listening to some White House guy blabbing about, he was talking about bringing Ebola patients for treatment to America. So not only allowing people to come here, but in some senses importing them. And I was thinking to myself, wait a minute, what's going on here?
Yeah.
With Obama, I sometimes think that he's forgotten that he's the president of the United States, and he somehow thinks that he's the president of the world. But the world didn't elect him. We did, much as we might regret it now, and we elected him on the bargain that he would defend and protect the interests of the United States. I rarely get the feeling that he even cares about that.
Yeah, I do too. Thank you so much for your time, and tell the folks your website or whatever information you want to give out.
My website is simply DineshD'Souza.com. I want to point out that our DVD, which has been available for digital download, this is the DVD of the film America, is now widely available in Target and Sam's Club, Walmart, and Costco. Costco, I'm happy to say, has made a huge order of DVDs after an unfortunate incident some months ago where they had pulled my book and then put it back on the shelf.
Yeah.
Now they're actually doing major repentance, and our DVD is all over Costco.
Well, we love seeing you on Megyn Kelly's show there on Fox News and other shows, and thank you when you have time to be with us. God bless you, sir, and we're definitely holding you up in prayer.
Thank you very much.
All right, take care now. All right, folks, thank you so much. We are out of time. Tomorrow's Open Line Friday. Have a good day.